everybody, this is Christina, and you may have noticed that I've been making a lot of videos lately, and I thought I would share with you the reason why. This is something that I've been meaning to do for a long time, and I've had mentors, emphasize and underscore the importance of video marketing for years, actually. Brendan Burchard, Mike Koenigs, Pam Hendrickson, Mia Davies, who else? James Wedmore, just a lot of the video marketing people out there. And so I bought the equipment and have a tripod and have a backdrop and all these different things, but I hadn't got started. Now, one reason for that is I have this little studio apartment and I have 2 golden retrievers, so to set up a tripod and just to set up like a little studio that I could just like step into when I was feeling inspired is not exactly feasible with where I'm living right now, because my dogs like run around and they would just disrupt the whole thing and it would just collapse. So and I think I don't have that convenience, but we shouldn't make that an excuse, right? So the other part of it is just wanting things to be a high quality production, the right lighting, the right angles, making sure your hair's okay and your outfit, and having something significant to say, and not rambling on, and you just worry about all those things. It's like a form of perfectionism and procrastination. But the thing is, when you procrastinate and you never do it, there's nothing out there to represent you. There's nothing, people don't know who you are. They don't know what you're about. There's no way for them to discover you. There's no way for them to experience you while you're off doing other things. There's nothing compounding if you don't have videos out there. Now, I've always known this since 2009, and I have done some videos, but they really haven't been of me directly. Like, I've done some of my dogs and the beach and some vegan meal preparation and some shopping, grocery shopping, farmer's market, sort of like lifestyle videos, like photo journaling or video journaling my life, to allow people to have some visibility into who I am, what I'm about. So I'm just trying to take it to the next level, and one of the things that has helped me do that is really acknowledging that this perfectionism thing, I understand that we all want to create, high quality content, and that is my goal, whether the content is free or paid, whether I'm teaching and instructing something, or I'm just, sort of laid back and just chatting like a random talk and some random insights like this. I always want it to come across, as best as it can, but the thing is, really, to be honest, you are depriving the world of a message when you're too focused on yourself. Like, people don't want perfection. In fact, really, it alienates people. It distances you from people if you come across, or they perceive you to be too perfect, and you need to be relatable, and you need to be authentic and leave in the flaws and the stutters and the rambling, because it shows them that it's okay and that they can do it too. As I'm filming this, I'm doing this on my iPad. You probably see it moving. I don't have it on a tripod. The lighting isn't exactly, it keeps going in and out, like different shades of warm yellow to white. I don't even know. I'm getting a softbox lighting kit, but until I do, I figured I'm just not going to make excuses. I'm just going to go ahead and get started, take action, allow the momentum to build in compounds, and kind of look back over these these early videos as like a baseline, and review them and critique them and deconstruct them and see what I can learn from them and improve as I go, because to get great you have to get good, and to get good you have to get started, and that's in any business, athletics, relationships, or any new area that you want to learn, or move towards mastery, even fitness, anything really. So the thing is that even though there's a lot of people talking online and a lot of user-generated content, when somebody's interested in something, they usually survey the entire market space for that. Like for example, like maybe raw foods. Like if I become interested in raw foods, I'm not just gonna read one book or look at one YouTube channel. I'm going to get a composite profile of everybody in that space and see who I resonate with the most. Their style, their choice of words, the length of their videos, the quality of their videos, what they write, see what really feels good to me. So, don't ever say that, don't ever procrastinate because you're like, okay, well, there's already a lot of other people saying this or doing this, because nobody can, say it or do it exactly like you. They don't have your experiences. They don't have your perspective, your personality, your stories, your voice, literally your voice, the tonality, and the way you think and the way you come across. There's going to be people that don't resonate with me. There's going to be people that resonate with me more than others. And I would encourage anybody to, if you discover me first, please keep searching and, get a composite profile of everybody in the space, and, take what serves you, and what doesn't serve you, just leave it alone. And a good example of this is, I've thought, at first I thought, wow, I don't know if there's anything that I could say that could change the direction of somebody's life. But then I remembered back in 2001, and this is a good example because it might be applicable to you too. I was laid off. I was actually I was working in Ashburn, Virginia at the Global Network and Operations Center for MCI WorldCom, and I was there at the wrong time, wrong place at the wrong time. It was during the Bernie Ebbers scandal, or I can't even remember what he did, but people were being laid off. And that was my very first layoff ever. I was so naive. I thought it was all attributable to me. I'm like, I was very good at what I did, so I'm like, my job performance is fine. Why did they let me go? But anyway, learned a lot through that, and it's like making a really good income. And then I was in the unemployment line, so one extreme to the other. But anyway, during that time of my unemployment, I actually was spending a Sunday afternoon in Borders. And I guess I'm dating myself because, there's no more Borders. But I used to love that bookstore, and browsing in there, and I found the Robert Kiyosaki book, Cashflow Quadrant. This was in 2001. And I'm not going to say that it changed my life because nothing dramatically happened overnight, but I will absolutely say that it changed the direction of my life and my mindset, and the things that I sought thereafter, the type of information that I looked for and craved and consumed after I read that book, because I was so inspired by Robert Kiyosaki, and I had a different framework to look at how people earned money, and from what quadrant that they were operating from, and the pros and cons of being in each one. And that's when I decided that I just knew with all of my heart and soul that I was in the wrong quadrant. It all made sense finally that I'm not supposed to be an employee, that everything that I was feeling was because I was really meant to be entrepreneurial, but I was never guided. I mean, my grandfather was entrepreneurial, and he taught me a lot, but I think I shared in another video, he passed away in 1980, and I kind of lost that influence, and I was kind of back under the care of my mother, who was a single parent, stressed, working overtime. She never remarried, and she never went to college, so she was working a job that, it didn't pay that much. So her advice for me was to go to college and, become marketable and have earning potential and be able to take care of myself and not, have the same kind of life and stress that she had, especially, especially if I was planning to have children. And, she also taught me not to rely on a man. But that's a whole other story. So I saw that in my mom. So but my point is, she wasn't entrepreneurial. So I lost that guidance. I lost that mentorship of my grandfather, and it kind of just, went away, and nobody else stepped in. So I was back to going to college and getting a job, and that was the advice that I was given and the advice that I followed. And I don't want to say I wasted a lot of time, but I never really felt like it was meant for me, and I never knew why. And it was years before I figured out that that's not who I was, and that I had to follow my heart and my personality. And I'm a Gemini, and I'm creative, and I like to have autonomy, and I like to, so I really want to give guidance to people that don't have guidance, because I know that if you don't, I didn't have a father either. My dad left when I was a baby. So I never had anybody, and I was an only child, too. So, I never had anybody to advise me, to talk to. And this is long before the internet, so, there's nowhere to turn. There was just books, and I was, always reading books. But there's just nothing beats like an in-person mentor, and I never had that in my family. And it's not an excuse, but it really delayed my growth and my progress and my personal development. So after I was laid off, and after I, serendipitously found Robert Kiyosaki's book, Cashflow Quadrant, which I still have on my bookshelf over there, I was really on a quest to transition. And now it's something I want to help other people with. And, I guess to bring this back full circle, is that if I didn't find that book and didn't read that book, I really don't know when I would stumble across anything, and I might have been more delayed, or maybe I would never have found anything. And, it changed the direction of my life, because Robert Kiyosaki, somebody I don't even know, decided to put everything that he knew into a book and put it out there. So the thing is, the internet is so vast, you don't know who might find you first. There might be someone who's completely lost and does a Google search, and you're the first person they find. Every video that you do, in fact, think about this. Every video that you do may be the very first video somebody sees of you, their first impression of you, and it may be something that can change the direction of their life in a positive way. So when I look at it like that, I'm like, I've got to put myself out there, because I am 46 now, and I have accrued a lot of life experiences, both personally and professionally, and I would say some wisdom and insight that I really, really wish I had when I was in my 20s, because I know my life would have taken a different direction, because I've been pretty successful with most everything that I've attempted. The only problem is, it was other people's rules. In college, I got A's and B's and honor society, and I graduated with honors and distinctions and certificates and awards, and I have some, a medal a rope or something around my neck on graduation day. I can't even remember now. It's really not even relevant. But you're playing by somebody else's rules and somebody else's approximation of your value. And then you go into corporate America and they tell you how much you're worth. You know, the HR department has some kind of pay scale for the jobs, you know, and there's limits, and you're confined to a cubicle. You're confined